So if anybody's in the chat, somebody type in the chat to hit the play button. Am I in the chat? I think I'm in the chat.
I have not seen the chat. Is that at White Roof?
WhiteRoofRadio.com, yeah.
Okay.
I've sent you guys the show notes. I need to send them to Gabe.
Oh, thanks, Alex. All right. So to the gazillion people already in chat, holy cow, look at that. Got a full crew.
Let's go.
Tonight.
We're on.
We got a full house.
Hello, everybody.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to White Roof Radio Live. Joined this evening by the normal cast of characters. Here it is.
Did you? Yeah.
Did you what?
Yeah, I got it. I got the show notes.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Good evening,
Right.
everybody. We should do a show.
I'm recording, DB. You can start anytime.
Okay. All right. I'm check. Did Alex give me show notes? He actually put the intro on the show notes for me. Thank you, sir.
Not that we always need it.
And you have to read it in French tonight.
I can't read it in French because he didn't type it in French. my French is crap anyway.
You have to translate.
Just put a lot of "la" and "we" in it. It'll be fine.
Oh, okay.
Translate it into Spanish.
I can translate into Spanglish, but I don't want to do that because then people might get offended. Anyhow.
Hey man, you're listening to White Roof Radio, man.
Holmes.
Speaking of offended,
I said
Arizona now.
I said Dave's not here, but Dave's not here. Do this. Here we go. You're listening to the world famous White Roof Radio, Woofcast number 542 for Monday, March 2nd, 2015. Tonight brought to you by CravenSpeed.com, Motoring Badges and MotoringStripes.com, and OutMotoring.com. Mini performance, speed, and style. That's OutMotoring.com. That's how we do it downtown, my friends. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Is everybody ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, let me put on my producer hat. Camera's in the way. I need to change places. I need 1 second for some screen arrangement. Please hold just one moment.
This all gets edited out of the show, by the way.
Out of the audio part of the show, yeah. I just wanted to make sure I could kind of see the chat a little bit. There we go. In good shape.
cannot
Zeke.
do
Oh, we got Zeke. Zeke. Hi, Zeke.
If there's anything I need to know, someone let me know.
Yeah, I usually don't watch the chat. I just want to keep an eye, see how many people are there. Excellent. Let's get this party started, shall we?
Yeah, let's do
Hey, everybody. It's DB in Arizona bringing you a brand new episode of the world famous White Roof Radio. We talk about Mini Coopers and whatnot for you on a Monday night like we like to do. Tonight, actually recorded live. We recorded yesterday, Sunday, live in front of an internet audience. Joining us this week, as usual, my good friend Todd Pearson from Kansas. Todd, say hi.
Peace, I'm here.
Yes, Todd is the master of the Genius Switch, whatever that is. Also joining us this evening, as usual, head mechanic, chief mechanic, the Reverend Chad Miller, DetroitTune.com. Chad just likes playing with buttons. Alex is here. Alex is here as well. Somehow he's managed to say not frozen in Boston.
Hey, guys.
And tonight, as a special treat, Mr. Gabe Bridgers joining us from motoringfile.com. Gabe, hi.
hi everyone.
And also Chicago.
And
this is
also
weird.
Chicago.
Because there's audio, there's video, there's live audiences, and my God, it's been a long time. So awesome to be a part of it.
So
Well, okay.
we've got so much that we missed, Gabe, while you were gone. That every time we have an interesting discussion, we're like, oh, I wish Gabe was here to chime in.
And then I'm typically at that moment either knee deep in children or on some airplane somewhere. So yeah, it'll be good to catch up.
Excellent. Good deal. That's very cool. Which we plan on doing. We'll get a lot of news from motoringfile.com, and who knows what else will come up because we've got Gabe. We don't get Gabe very often. So it should be a wild ride. We're going to get to all that here in just a minute. Before we do, I would like to direct your attention, if I could, over to our good friends over at outmotoring.com, where I've actually started building quite a huge wish list. You go over to outmotoring.com. It's the Mini Cooper parts superstore. Anything that you want for your Mini, and I don't care which Mini you've got. You've got a first gen R50, R53, all the way up to the latest R56. There's something for you over at outmotoring.com. Cool interior parts, cool exterior parts, go fast bits, Craven speed stuff, tools, the personal stuff that you like, the hats, the shirts, the shoes, the watches, car care, tools, everything that you need for your Mini is over at outmotoring.com. Go over there, and when you get there, you're going to get a little pop-up at the bottom of the screen. And if you put your email address in there, you're going to get the email newsletter. The cool thing about that is it comes out about once a month, and you get your own 5% discount coupon, which is super duper handy. And if you use the wish list function and you wait for your next coupon code, you save yourself 5%. Super duper awesome. Go over there, outmotoring.com. Take care of all that and get the stuff that you want. That's our friends over at Outmotoring, outmotoring.com. Mini performance, speed, and R56 side markers, JCW chrome ring. That's outmotoring.com. That doesn't actually say that on the page. That's just what's currently in my wish list. Because I've got the JCW body kit and I want the JCW scuttles to match.
Top of mind.
You
Yes.
should have.
Gabe-
I thought you were going to put the JCW grill surrounds around the.
I like it better
Wait,
with the chrome.
So DB has a new car.
So Gabe hasn't been with us for a while. So Gabe, I no longer have a 2003 Mini Cooper. I now have a 2008 Mini Cooper.
I did
You
see
see it on my
it
Instagram.
Yeah, I did see your Instagram every once in a while, and I saw you getting involved in some UifiCation, which is very exciting. So every time I saw it, I was a
Yes.
huge smile upon my face.
I thought you'd be upset because the new car has the JCW body kit, and the JCW body kit that I got came with the paintable arches, and I painted them body color.
Yeah, well, to each their own.
I think it looks nice. So you can suck it.
To each their own.
That's okay, Gabe.
But I'm just happy. I'm happy to see you, make a change and get into something a little nicer.
A little bit light, a little bit nicer, a little bit newer. A little bit newer. Yeah. And now I've got all most of the gunk and muck off from the Clearbaugh, and it's been buffed and polished, and it looks really nice now. I'm pretty happy. And the JCW body kit's nice, and now you get to look for wheels and odd trinkets for the outside.
Well, you and I now share. We share. I would call it an affliction, which is green minis with tiny wheels.
I'm working on changing that too.
I am too. I mean,
I noticed that the current motoring file company car has tiny wheels on it, doesn't it?
I mean, that's so. Can we curse on this show still, or is it? No.
Briefly.
It is so effing embarrassing. I've got to tell you, driving around in this car, which is nice. It lacks key ingredients for success, mind you, like rear fog lights and things that anybody would order. But regardless, it also happens to be relatively loaded with the smallest wheels actually possible to fit over the calipers. So.
Gabe, if you think that's ridiculous,
disturbing.
you should see an F56 with 15-inch wheels on it.
Hmm.
That is the epitome of ridiculous.
Yeah, it is, and that's usually a Cooper. But I look at that and I always think like, well, that person just bought stylish like daily transportation. You look at my car, it's like, well, that person dropped a coin on a Cooper S and forgot to get the wheels. It's
Forgot
like
to
The dealer ordered.
Check mark.
even the dealer. If you look at the dealer, sort of like the playbooks, if you will, for the dealer, they spell out how to order the cars, and none of them they spell out have anything less than 17s. So
Then how did you get 16s?
Oh well, I mean, I maybe I haven't been on in a couple months. I could tell you the whole story at some
Tell us the
point.
story. I read the story and I understood it because you went from a 14 to a 15, and so therefore
Right.
all of your options changed because they
Yeah.
changed the car from 14 to 15.
Yeah, true. So it had been very carefully optioned out. I mean, more or less carefully. I mean, every single option. So 18-inch wheels, everything possible. The off-white leather, the off-white dash, the piano black, the wood dash, like everything. And it went from 14 to 15. And my car, because it's a press car, was not of the highest order, and I didn't have a a motoring advisor to help me through the process to say, hey, by the way, your car went from 14 to 15. We may need to redo your orders, your options. Never happened. And then I was finally delivered my car 6 months late. Not that I'm complaining, because it's a car that we all get to review and etc. But it was just quite a moment when I'm like, oh, there it is. I'm so glad I finally. What is that? Oh God, that was pretty much all the reactions at once, because it was like, is that my car? Wait a second. Oh, it is. Oh, it has little wheels.
Yeah, it's very fixable.
It's pretty funny. Well, Mini's been great about it, in that they immediately recognized that it was their mess up, and they wanted to try to do something about it. It is taking a long time, I will say that. It's I'm sure lower in their priority, and et cetera, but we're talking about doing some JCW accessories. I really want them to be called successories at some point, though.
Okay.
But some mini accessories, aero kit, wheels, and a couple other small things. Wheels, honestly, I just want the wheels. That's the biggest thing.
Gabe, I've been looking for wheels lately, and if you go over to eBay, you can find some S-Lights and just get a screaming deal.
You have to drill an extra hole.
Oh yeah, because you've got an F56.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Never mind. That's the problem.
I offered DB.
I'm drinking to forget, by the way.
I have a set of 18-inch JCW black wheels, the ones from about, I want to say late 05, early 06. And they're all black, kind of matte black. And I offered to give them to him for his new car.
Those are great wheels, if I remember right.
They're beautiful wheels. They're beautiful.
Would they
wheels,
fit on the? They should fit on the F56, right?
Absolutely.
Or R56, yeah. So what the fuck?
They're a different bolt pattern, aren't they?
No, they're not. There was a subtle difference in the, if I remember right, the depth of the.
One's a 4-lug and the other one's a 5-lug.
No, they won't fit on the F56. They'll fit on my car though.
Yeah, but I know, Todd. Are you getting to the point that DB has decided against them? Is that where you're?
Yes,
where you're going?
and I will tell you why I've decided against them.
That's offensive.
I do not want to buy 18-inch tires.
Well, why not?
Because they're expensive. Have you priced 18-inch tires?
I've bought 18-inch tires.
Yeah.
In fact, 18s are the smallest I bought in years.
And also, I want white.
So here's the problem. Here, I'm going to just throw this out there. I don't disagree.
Boy, here we go.
DB. I don't disagree with you, DB. Why are we paying? Why are we paying for more for less tire? Why is that?
I think you're right.
Same tire. 15s versus 18s.
No, your logic is sound. It really is.
Sense.
But it's less tire. You're right. Less rubber, less material, but yet they cost more. Usually, substantially more.
No, they do. You're right, and that's why I can't fault you for it. And I totally agree with you. It's
17s, and it's amazing.
It comes down to
16s are
more cars use the 17 than the 18, really.
Yeah,
and
supply and demand.
Supply and demand, yeah.
Personally, I think an 18 on a Mini, it's not enough sidewall. It's going to damage rims. The ride is a little tough. It never hooks up. I mean, if you're just looking for looks, yeah, they're fine, but it's overall, there's more negatives than there is positives.
I've been driving 18 for 9 years.
I disagree.
I haven't bent a single one of my GP wheels.
Well, you only drive 4 miles to the dealer.
You drive on the surface of glass.
Well, that's me in Phoenix.
Seriously.
We have
Kansas doesn't have a whole lot of. I mean, they have temperature change, but not like the whole all of a sudden Detroit weather where it's like 90 one day and then negative 30 the next.
Let's be honest, Chad. It's the weather in Detroit's not really the big problem. The big problem is the complete lack of infrastructure.
Yes, I agree.
And money to care for it. That would be the major issue. But
I
agree.
I am gonna do 17s for sure, which I've decided I'm gonna put 17s on the car because I'm under only 17-inch tires are only $25 more than 16-inch tires, so I'll go to a 17. That's not a problem. I'm just looking for the right wheels right now, and I've got some angles I'm working right now to make that happen.
Cool.
Anyway,
I'm telling you, when I retire my those bullet wheels.
So I've been doing Google searches, and I found the bullet wheels, and they look like flower petals.
Is there a
See.
place I can send a link to like? How's
Yeah,
that
we
work
have
in one of the
we have
situations?
chat. Gabe,
Oh, I'll
over
just
in
do the
the
shoot.
top,
Boom.
in the up here, right up
There, everybody gets it. Everybody gets
there.
it.
Well, you could have just put it. There's a little chat. If you click the little chat icon in the
No,
top
it's
left.
it's good. Everybody should see it. So I was just gonna throw out the the epic OZ 18-inch wheel bend, or I should say.
Yes,
sort of like-
I remember that. That was back in the day.
Yeah, that was. So this is what can happen in Chicago or Detroit, I'm sure, with
Yeah.
18-inch wheels, and those were low profile, too low. They should have been. I actually switched to 215/40s 18s. Which
That was your
would-
R56, wasn't it, Gabe?
It was.
Gabe, 215/40 or 205/40 is what is standard on the mini JCW wheels at that time. So,
That's right, and I went 215,
You went to
which was
35.
which a taller sidewall, etc. But to be honest with you, I enjoyed the 215/40 because it provided the 18-inch look and more comfort, and no rubbing.
Yeah. Well,
We're gonna talk about tires all night.
Yes, Alex. We are. Thank you.
Sorry, this is what happens.
Yeah.
I apologize. I'm not...
All right.
But anyway, so-
before we begin, I wanted to know what Gabe's like 40K car is because we haven't had a chance to ask him the question.
Oh, good grief! We're not even close to getting there with Gabe yet. Holy cow! We have so much stuff to get caught up with Gabe. Holy cow!
Should we go into that now? I mean,
Oh,
I'm happy
good
to do
grief.
it.
quickly,
Well,
tell me,
okay.
you had to spend $40,000 today, Gabe. What would you buy?
Yeah, I would buy a Cayman GT4.
A used one for 40 grand?
No. I'd buy a brand new Cayman GT4 for $94,000.
Well,
So you
we
would
know
sell the 1M, you would sell the 1M and use the rest.
And I would sell the 1M, and I would walk over and buy the car.
Oh man.
So there you go, Alex. Are you happy?
Yeah.
Alex,
my,
you seem
my daily driver. Is that okay?
totally fine.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Yeah.
I like that Alex is disappointed in that. That's a Jeremy Clarkson
because-
style answer. Come on.
No, because I was waiting for. I thought you would come up with something without not including the 1M in the transaction. But that's totally fine.
If it was just for me, for 40K, I'll tell you what. I'll give at the end of the show. I'll tell you. I have to think about it.
All right.
Fair enough. I like that. Alex, do you have any other questions that you just want to just throw out at Gabe at random to interrupt the rest of whatever we're talking about? No? Okay, good. Moving on. Moving on. We should probably do some news from motoringfile.com and actually open up the rundown that Alex put together for us. So let's have some of that news music, sir.
This will be much tighter when people hear it this week.
Yes, exactly. So here we click over to motoringfile.com. And let's start at the, I think we should, Alex, how'd you put together a rundown? Oldest to newest at random? What'd you do?
No, oldest to newest.
All right, well, let's just go ahead and start with this one, which is, what is this one? The JCW kit?
Our beloved.
Oh, yeah, the tuning. So we're going to talk more about JCW, obviously, this week. So we've got the JCW tuning kit has been put on hold for the U.S. market because you guys are going to burn yourselves on the exhaust pipes.
This is ridiculous.
Do you guys remember this? It was actually with the R56. Now we could say that's DB's car, and it was the JCW dealer installed kit, if I remember right. And I had that, and it stuck out, but I mean not egregious in any way. It stuck out like to the point where you'd be like, oh, nice exhaust. It wasn't like it's quietly like, God, his exhaust is put on badly, and
Right.
apparently somebody sued.
You would
Because
think that they would have
burns are
learned
shit.
the first time.
What did you say, Chad?
You would think that they would have learned the first time, and now they're doing it yet again.
Well, it's funny, yeah, because at the time we were like, it's an exhaust pipe, it's hot, don't touch it.
Well, so the reason they didn't learn again because the Germans just refused to believe that we were that stupid. I believe this is my opinion, but Germans refused to believe we're that much of an idiot, like to basically burn our leg and then sue the manufacturer. Like the fact that we would burn our leg on the hot exhaust pipe.
Right.
I think it wasn't our fault. I get it.
So Yeah, I get it, but that's still a dumb reason to like postpone releasing what is truly a brilliant exhaust system.
Well, what happened is, I'm sure, I guarantee you, the people that were involved in the JCW exhaust at that time have moved on to the company, and the Germans who are involved now didn't know, and they just engineered it to be that much outside the car, and that needs to be that much outside the car.
Well, it's because it has those gorgeous carbon fiber, the shroud on it.
Which looks so nice.
There's an M Sport exhaust that does the same thing.
Which, by the way, you won't see now.
Really? Because it's all
it's going to be tucked in the car.
Yeah,
it's sad. Yeah.
It is ridiculous, and it seems that in Europe they're already advertising this. It's already for sale on European sites as an upgrade option, and I don't think it's going to be a deal in Europe. I don't think they had.
Oh no, it's not, because I mean, but that's society. I mean, Alex, you can speak to it. It's a difference in the way they look at it. Like if you burn your leg on an exhaust, I mean, that's kind of your fault. I mean,
it's your fault, exactly. Yeah.
I mean,
we're not like. Yeah, we're not as when I used to have as many procedures as there is in the US, right? Like for instance, one thing that I've noticed very often, like especially in Boston, you have those signs on malls that says it's slippery, like be careful when you walk here, right? You would never see that in France or any other countries that I visited in Europe, because people know that you should be careful. It's slippery here. Like you don't need to have like a sign on the floor telling you this. The reason the sign exists is because the mall or whatever shop is up front next to that sign doesn't want to get sued by someone falling on the ground. And that's the same for the exhaust. People would know that you should be careful. Just it's funny because the motorcycle exhaust is right on the outside. I mean, people know that they have to step away from it and be careful not to burn themselves.
But motorcyclists aren't dumb.
Litigious?
They're usually in leather.
Litigious, and they're usually in leather or long pants. Yeah.
No, because in Michigan they don't wear helmets. I mean,
well, same with Arizona. They don't wear helmets here either. But I don't know.
Yeah, but it's not for the rest of us.
You only learn once. You get that half moon scar on your leg one time, and then you never happens again.
Well, it'll happen. They'll shorten the thing up a little bit, and we'll get it, and hopefully it'll sound as good as it did on the one that we drove over the summer. So
are they going to actually send out like slips to people and be like, you need to bring your car in because we need to shorten your tips again?
Well, I don't think they've actually shipped it yet. They haven't shipped any kits.
No, they haven't shipped it. To my knowledge, they haven't. They haven't shipped it, sold any, etc. So.
Right. There's only one installed, and that's on that car that CRISPR MTTS. It might be installed on another car by now, but there's only one of those. Anyway,
I can't wait to hear how the default, the standard JCW exhaust is going to sound like, because maybe we actually don't need this one after all.
I would suspect it's going to be less. It's going to be less loud. Sorry, it's going to be less loud. In talking with the guys at Detroit, I would suspect it's going to be less loud, and the engine, because the engine is there's less done to it this time, which sounds crazy. They got a lot more power out of it, but there's less done to it, so there's going to be less difference, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
More similar.
That'd be my hunch.
Very cool. Very cool. I'm sure everybody had a chance to check out this the Evo video by now of the GP1, GP2, and then 2 race cars on the track.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah, it was a cool video until the guy in the hardcore race car ran out of fuel.
Oops.
Yeah. My favorite part of it was...
so here comes Todd. Ready? Here comes Todd. Go. Here he comes.
Oh, wait.
Here comes Todd. GP1.
Wait, is
here
there
comes.
Is there a drinking game involved in this?
There is, and everybody like a .10 by the time I'm done talking right now. That's all I'm saying. Led the entire race until the very end. The GP1.
Yeah, GP1. Did you also notice, really quick?
Your car? Hold on.
Really quick. Did you know that the car that led for almost the entire race was the GP1, which was also the only car, I believe, that was driven by a truly professional race car driver?
And he even said at the very end that the reason the GP2 caught him is the handling was better and the tires, because that car was basically on those racing slicks that it has.
The Kumos.
Jesse, the GP2 is only faster than your car because of the tires?
The tires and suspension.
I can't drink for that.
The car weighs 400 pounds more and doesn't and
It
has
does not weigh 400 pounds more.
no the
That
new
is
one.
the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
The F56 weighs 400 pounds more. The GP2 only weighed about 200 pounds more, but it had
It
fewer.
was 160 more, if I remember right.
Okay, 160, but it had fewer horsepower. It had six less horsepower.
But how much more torque did it have? It was so much faster than your
It
car.
needs all that torque to get the extra 160 pounds of fat moving. Come on.
It doesn't even need power. It has so much more torque down low. I've driven both those cars on tracks. The GP2 is so much faster. Come on. Forget the tires. It's so much faster. It just is. I'm not saying it's more fun. I'm just saying it's faster.
Yeah, no, it
And that's
is.
the reality. Every car from now on is going to be faster, and then the question is it more fun? Often it'll probably be no.
Well, that's the crazy thing too, and I said the potential now exists that the GP1 becomes the E30 M3, of the mini world, like the sought after car that it had less horsepower, but man, it was raw. There was nothing to it. It was about as stripped down a race car, street car as you could get.
Maybe I'm gonna turn to DB here as the producer and say, DB, now's the time we all look at each other. We all look at each other and we say, do we want to do an E30 slash GP1 show at some other time, or do you want me to talk about this now?
I would vote that we do a GP slash E30 show another time.
Okay, I suspected as much. I will,
that's
table
that's
that.
that's fairly hardcore, and I don't think we want to. I honestly, I don't think most of our audience actually cares about BMW E30. So
It would be more of just, what's the GP1 going to become? Is it going to become the E30, or is it going to become the 325 IS? Anyway,
okay,
we'll table that.
Fair enough.
I'm actually curious to hear at some point. I'd love to be on that show.
Okay, we'll make sure we have you around when we do that one, Gabe. But anyway, it was a cool video. If you guys didn't get a chance to watch, go back and watch it. It was really fun. It was cool.
Hey, so I read the article and I actually didn't see the video. I'll be very honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
The F56 race car broke down?
Yeah, yes, it did.
It broke down / ran out of fuel.
Okay, so in the article,
No, it wasn't. I don't think it was an F56. I think it was an R56. I think it was like a JCW.
Oh, it was an F56.
Was it? Was it the new challenge car?
Yeah. So in the article, they just said it literally was having problems.
Right, yes. which means it broke down and ran out of fuel, or something. It did. It was a DNF.
Okay.
So, good times. Which is 2X. That's a good looking car. I wanted that one to do well.
It is.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I wish we got that race here in the United States. Anyway, enough about that. Let's move on, and let's talk about video game cars.
Because they're always better than real life cars.
I don't quite understand why there is a new Mini in the Gran Turismo video game as opposed to, I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand the purpose.
Well, Gran Turismo works.
I know what Gran Turismo is. I get that.
Yeah.
And they work with manufacturers to get their cars in the game and they do like really cool, like, here, give us a whatever, some kind of like a car that never existed or won't exist. We'll put it in the game. I get that.
They worked with pretty much every other manufacturer up until now, and even BMW. And so I guess Mini was just in the pipeline, and they decided to release it. But also, I would say that there are chances that those cars might actually made it into real production cars at some point. And so DB is nodding no. Gabe can comment on it. I think there was a post on Motoring File about the 300 horsepower, Clubman at some point, or whole-wheel drive Clubman. It looks, it's a glimpse maybe of it. I don't know, but it's a very interesting. It's a very interesting proposition for Mini designers, I think. And it very much looks like not look like, but it's almost like a Ferrari FF in some ways, because that Clubman only has 2 doors, I think, if I'm correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so. I think here's what they're doing. I mean, they're sort of setting the stage. If you can imagine how they would typically have a concept car that's super outlandish, and it would sort of preview the car that's coming. Well, they did that with the Clubman concept, but if you remember, with the Countryman and the Clubman previously, they did a bunch of concepts, different sort of iterations of it, to show the different sides of the Clubman. And in a way, they just released the second Clubman concept digitally, rather than actually physical.
Okay.
And so, yeah, it's outlandish. It's totally true. But that car there will be a JCW Clubman, I believe. And it will be, and I hope at least, they will have a horsepower range around 275 to 300 out of that engine available to Mini, which I would assume Mini would try to take, because BMW is going to have their own version of it, and they're going to have all-wheel drive available. It's going to be, so I mean, all the ingredients are there to create a car that is about 300 horsepower, all-wheel drive, and JCW. It'd be amazing.
The car is going to be enormous, though. It's going to be bigger than the Countryman now.
It'll be bigger. It'll be shorter. It'll be lighter, I believe. So it's not going to be big. Like it's it's going to be around 3,000 pounds.
Right. I am very excited about the Clubman. Don't get me wrong. I'm a little concerned about the size of it. But
well, put it this way, Todd. The E30 M3 was. I'm just throwing it out there. No, I'm just trying to put it in perspective. I mean, those cars were around 3,000 pounds. I mean, they weren't light, and that car had 200 horsepower. I mean, they're not. It's not like it's a beast. It's not like it's 4,000 pounds. It could be a lot worse.
Right. It's not like it's a GTI, right, or a Mustang.
or yes, a Mustang would be the one.
Mustang is like 5,000 pounds, isn't it? I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's they're not that heavy.
It's upwards of 4, properly spec'd.
Yeah.
But I think the Clubman is going to be amazing. Like it's a 4-door Mini for people who
35 to
want all
37.
That. I mean, I think the R55 is always going to be really kind of near to my heart. I saw one today, and I just thought, man, I just want to buy one to have and to keep forever, because they'll never make another car like that again.
No,
I agree.
I want a JCW one. If I could just have like any Mini right now, so it'd be a JCW Clubman.
It's funny. I see more JCW Clubman than I like of any ratio of JCW to normal. I see more JCW Clubman in Chicago than any other car. It's really strange.
And if you do a search on eBay for JCW Clubman, most of them are also in Chicago for sale, which also I find to be very strange.
All right.
I don't know. It's really weird.
There it is. Let me know if you want me to check one out.
Demographic of the people, though, too. If you think about it,
I definitely think it is.
Yeah. Okay. And also that was a pricey car. So I mean, you need
people that make a little more money that still need the room, want to have a little more power. I mean, that's all demographical.
I think demographical is a word, Chad.
Yeah.
You convinced me.
I'm doing it right now. Here goes.
Hey, I want to hear about the whole Rocket Man. I mean, I know we skipped it in our little list here, but
no, that was next up. I just wanted to get the video game car out of the way.
So I want to ask this question. It wasn't posted on Motor File, and to be honest, I just haven't had time. But Lexus released or leaked a look at their city car, which is sort of a Mini-esque city car, and it begs the question.
That makes sense. So,
what is that based on? So, backing up for a second, BMW and Toyota are co-developing a sports car platform,
right.
And Toyota just recently released some concept that was more or less the new Supra, which is more or less that new platform. And so, what I'm seeing here as a trend is that Toyota or Lexus is doing the show cars or doing the concept cars on the platforms that BMW is collaborating with. Do we think that maybe the platform? Do we think that's a kind of a precursor to the Rocket Man?
It's a possibility, but why would they make a? Well, I mean, that would be a good place to start, just like see how that whole thing worked out. before they actually go into production on something small that I still don't think is going to sell in the States anyway.
Yeah, I think it probably won't sell a ton. I mean, gas has to be $5-6 a gallon. Someday it will be. I don't know when. But yeah, I mean, I think that it's definitely not. We've been talking about this since I looked back, and I did look back on Modern File. We've been talking about this since 2009. Toyota and BMW potentially collaborating on a small car since 2009. So, I mean, it's got to be happening at this point, based on everything I ever heard.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You don't want to talk to me about this. This is another one of those pie in the sky things, like getting diesel in the United States. I mean, I like the concept of this car, and I know everybody wishes Mini would actually make this car, but I still think that everybody who wishes Mini would make this car wouldn't actually buy this car.
My eyes crossed. What now?
Exactly. I think that everybody wants this car. Everybody wants Mini to make this car because it's small and it's efficient and blah 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 blah.
Nobody will
but
buy
everybody
one.
Everybody who wants it built they wouldn't actually buy one for themselves because it's too small or whatever.
It's the wagon syndrome.
Yeah, same thing.
BMW always talks about this. Like, the only people who buy wagons are automotive journalists, and they can't afford them until they buy them secondhand.
Yes.
I have my hand up here.
It's 100% right. I don't know.
I mean, I
like the idea.
3 BMW wagons in the back. I mean, I know the feeling.
I hope they make it. And I hope it's something joint that they do with Toyota and turns out really rad and super awesome, and that Toyota can sell it and BMW can sell it, and anybody they sell it as a Lexus, whatever, that's fine. Because I'm sure Lexus needs this for their cafe standards as well. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It just matters seeing if it actually gets done. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm gonna segue
but I don't like eggs. So
I'm going to segue that conversation of cars that don't sell or won't sell over to, we're just going to jump ahead a little bit to the Coupe and the Roadster, which we announced a couple of weeks ago that Mini put out a press release that, hey, these cars are going away, but they didn't really put a date on it, okay? Mm-hmm. They didn't really put a date on it, but as far as I know, the dealers that same week, it was like out of the blue, the dealers got a message that said, you can alter anything that's in the system now, but no new orders. That's it. It's done. And they're going to make them through the next, I want to say it's going to be like sometime in May, but it did seem that I think if you wanted to configure one, you're out of luck right now. Like, as of now, it's done.
The Roadster and Coupe? So the thing I heard from Mini was it would be around April 1st, depending on your dealer.
Yeah. Well, I guess it depends on where the dealer is, but I'm pretty sure, like, if you're here in the Midwest and you wanted to order one, you're out of luck. You're going to get what you get that comes in. You can't.
But you can always modify orders. I mean, that's not, I mean.
Well, no. What I'm saying is, I think the dealers here were told they could no longer, like, they had till the end of a week ago to modify or change anything, and after that, it's done. Like, it's immediate.
For May production?
What I'm saying is, I don't think it's going to go to May.
Oh, I was told it was going to May. That's what that's what I was told, at least.
That's what I think the original plan was. Now, this may or may not be correct. It may just be hedging our bets for whatever this is. But
no, I was told it was going to May production, and then April, like basically right around April 1st is when your last chance is. But check with your dealer ASAP.
Yeah, you could have up to 4 weeks, from now to do this. But those are dying, and they're dying an early death. We talked about this a number of times, but this thing they're dying to 2 early death. Is that right? They were supposed to go through 17, I believe.
I thought, because Mini usually runs a 7-year cycle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's true. It's true. I mean, so I think what's happening is they recognize if they didn't have something to put in place of production that would be more profitable, they'd probably be like, well, let's keep going. But the reality is they want to get the Clubman in there ASAP. They've got the F-54, F-55, F-56. They're going to have the F-57, and they're going to be producing some of these as well at the Nedcar facility in the Netherlands. But still, when you look at this range versus those two cars, there's a lot greater sales opportunity, a lot greater profit opportunity, etc. Doesn't make any sense to keep them around, which is, of course, a shame. I mean, let's just talk about it for a second. the Roadster. I mean, I spent 18,000 miles with that car. Todd, you had it for a little bit. DB, you drove it. Like, I think, Todd, you had no pants on it for a while when you drove
We
it.
broke in the leather.
But it was just an amazing car, such an amazing experience, and owning it and driving it through a Chicago winter. That was the mild winter. It's just incredible.
Yeah,
Well,
I like that car a lot.
Yeah, I do. I'm gonna miss the coupe and the Roadster a little bit. Not the coupe so much. I like the looks of that car, but drivability and getting in the car and being in a coupe. I wasn't as big a fan because the visibility was a little tight.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the roof line was tight. I'd hit my head. It was a little difficult to get in and out of. But
I agree.
I did like the Roadster.
I agree. I thought I would be a coupe guy. I was really, really assuming that would be like the ultimate, and then spending a year in the Roadster completely changed my mind. Amazing.
I agree.
Yeah.
I even looked at
I'll-
hitting a JCW
Go ahead, Todd.
Roadster instead of an F56 JCW this year because they're going to be. They were right about the same price, around $40,000, 38 to 40
You could have
grand.
bought the Motoring File Roadster for super cheap.
I know it was on sale at a dealer in Philadelphia. I got a couple of messages about that.
Yeah, I mean, well, I could have bought it for Mini for you too, for even cheaper.
Oh well, that ship has sailed.
Yes, it did.
I think I'm the only one that actually didn't mind the coupe. I spent some time in one during Me Takes the Stasis last time around. I didn't mind it at all. I liked that I had that lack of vision on the side. It made me feel like I was like in a cockpit. I like that feeling, and I was able to see around it anyway. So
Yeah, everybody said it is a cockpit, but everybody that I've known that has had one for a period of time, they've gotten rid of them because they got depressed because they were in it, and no, I'm serious. It seemed like a cave, and they've moved on.
yeah, okay.
So it's something to think about, and that could be part of why they're killing this ahead of time.
Yeah,
I say
because
depression
they're killing the coupe because it's making people depressed.
I mean,
depression.
that's possible, but I mean,
good,
again, this is a very small statement. A lot of people that I've known that have had them have only kept them about a year and a half.
Yeah,
I know people have
they've
had them
moved
a
on.
little bit longer than that, but I also know a lot of single people who have coupes.
yeah.
Yeah, a single person in a coupe would be perfect because it's got a ton of boot room. I mean, and really useful. So
That is what she said.
yeah,
Cram it in the boot.
but it's a good-looking car.
It is. I like it a lot. Moving on, shall we? Let's talk about. I think we're about done. Actually, we're pretty much done. Alex, you told us about this whole silver car thing already. I see a lineup of just Audi badges, and it's making me twitch a little bit. So
If they don't have it anywhere, I'm going to go. I'm not going to LA anytime soon or Phoenix.
yeah.
No, I think
Okay.
they have other locations, but I don't know what they are. It's just that I was very excited to try it once, because I've been spending more time in Los Angeles this past couple 2 months. So I was very excited to buy it. And also, it's by far not my best riding on the Motoring File, so I apologize for that. Some people have, made their discontent aware to me on the comments, and I'm sorry for that. But yeah, I guess that's what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Moving on. Finally, a metaphor for the modern motor industry. Chris Harris on why every car brand is obsessing with building every kind of car, which is just I didn't actually get a chance to read the article, but that just doesn't seem like something very smart to do.
No, but I mean, he's he's a very good writer, in addition to be a very good car reviewer, and he talks about a lot of things. But at the end of the day, it's just that car companies just have to, because they are the goal is to become bigger and bigger and more profitable, and you can only do that as far as the size of the niche is concerned, right? And so once you have exhausted that niche, you need to move to something else. Sorry, and so that's why you see Mini, for example, Mini building bigger cars. That's why also you see, luxury or supercar companies like Lamborghini or Bentley or Rolls-Royce, starting to build SUVs and stuff like this, because they just have to for profitability and rentability purposes. They just have to. It's kind of sad for enthusiasts like us, but this is just happening. This is what they have to do at the end of the day.
Yeah.
True.
And I think Mini, we're going to see that they're going to start chasing the money. It's a company that needs to be profitable. And
Yeah.
as they're getting bigger, they're getting more. I don't want to use the word dumbed down because I don't think that's it. But we've talked about this thousands of times, right? They're relying on JD Power's surveys to build the cars and saying, well, this is clearly what people want because this is what the surveys are telling us. They want the window switches in the doors. They want the locks in the doors. All of this, and I need like here. I'm gonna unmute him also, if I can. Hold on.
I think I can.
That's it.
There you go.
You got him unmuted?
No,
Yeah,
you muted him again. Unmute him.
Back.
Okay, I'm gonna try here. There. No?
Nope.
Yep.
Yeah, you remuted.
No, he's
him
still
again.
showing muted.
No, because
That's it. That's it.
No, there he's back.
Unmuting myself, and you would mute
Oh.
me.
It was the battle. It was battle of the mutes.
Sorry, I had to go take care of something important.
That's
Get a
okay.
fresh beer.
I do that a minute ago. But anyway, Gabe, as I was saying, that Mini, I think, is heading towards a direction of their, I don't want to say lowest common denominator, and I don't want to say they're dumbing down the brand, but they were relying a lot on sales figures, JD Power reports, on what to do with the car, and they're getting less innovative. The cars are becoming more like every other car out there. They are definitely becoming more BMW-like, which is not a bad thing, but...
I would say, I mean, innovative, I wouldn't say the R53 was very innovative at all. And it had a very old-school engine designed by 4 guys from Chrysler in Detroit.
Yeah, but the quirky
And-
stuff
Ton of power,
about the
though.
car, like everything from the window, from the toggles in the center
But
panel.
that wasn't innovative. Like, that was just quirky. Like, that was just like Frank Steffensen, like, hey, we should do this and that. And, like, they're basically eliminating the quirky part of it.
Well,
And
yeah,
they're trying to create
like,
something. They're trying to make it less about, like, people get in those things and are confused as shit. And so what they're trying to do is eliminate the confusion and add the quirkiness and make it more comfortable for more people.
But how about design-wise? They've done things like, and I know they do it for profitability reasons. They took the headlights out of the bonnet when it comes up, okay? Because that was very easy to make. They took the taillights and they made them specific. They weren't any longer built in, and they like that. The wraparound glass was done away with and had like a C-pillar in the back.
Yeah,
And
I mean, some of that was based on price and also long-term viability, because we're seeing a lot of rust in the R53s because of the French and taillights. While it looked awesome, it also held water in that particular spot and created the quarter panels to rust out. So in the the R56, like Don's car, it then sealed up better, and people complained that the headlights bounced. So some of that was price, and other stuff was also because of wanting to have their cars be longevity. So, some of the body stuff, in that aspect. But yeah, I mean, I'm still that guy that likes the window switches in the middle of the car.
Yeah, and I do too. I think I've got to go take care of this kid over here. This is the next generation, by the way.
Yeah.
He's super excited.
For a minute, wave it like
what-
a Spanish flag. He was like a Fernando Alonso fan or something.
But I mean, I really like the way I look at it is we kind of have the best of both worlds, because we have this incredible thing, the R50 and R53, which was built, and I can't believe it was ever even built. I mean, it made me fall in love with the whole Mini idea, and it's an amazing product. And now we have a modern version of that, which is faster, more comfortable, and everything is better. And so, in my mind, like, I could go buy a used R53 well sorted for, $10,000 probably, or I could go buy a new one. Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. And so then, or I can go buy a new one and have all the stuff that they have, all the attributes. And so, like, I love that. I love the fact that there's basically choice. I mean, I really would like to have an R53 in my driveway at some point again, but until then, I'm going to enjoy my F56.
Well, there it is.
Tiny wheels.
There you go.
Tiny wheels.
With tiny wheels.
With tiny wheels. Well, yeah, the tiny wheels. Sorry, that's that just doesn't do for anything. I'm being pulled away by a child. This kid's, by the way, I'm gonna get this kid a Roadster. It's gonna be his first car,
Nice.
and the rationale it's gonna be manual is because that means that his hands are busy and he can't have more than at least one, at most one girl in the car. All right, buddy.
Nice.
Okay. All right. Okay.
A little bit.
Nice.
All right.
All right,
I'll be
Gabe.
right back.
Thanks.
Okay.
And there we go. Good grief.
All right. Well, that does it for the news.
That does it for the news. News from motoringfile.com. Done and done. So let me tell you guys about another one of our fine sponsors here underneath the white roof, if I could. That's our friends over at Cravenspeed. Cravenspeed.com. You guys like these guys. They've got that really cool dipstick. They've got that N-gauge system, the shorty antenna that we like so much. Go over there, check them out. The other thing that we like a lot is, of course, is the FlexPod mount, the squeezy thing for your car. Perfect for holding your cell phone, or if you're, over the age of 50 and you still have a navigation system GPS thing, so you drive into the lake, they have a mount for that too. Go over there, cravenspeed.com, click on that, and you can check it out. You can also get the newsletter. Don't forget, sign up on the homepage. That way, if anytime they update the site, they'll send you an email. They don't send you email any other time. It's like, oh, here's something new, check it out, and they send you an email. Super rad, super awesome, super cool. Cravenspeed.com. Go over there, and if you place an order, remember, we do like it if you leave a comment when you do. Say, hey, thanks for supporting White Roof Radio. We really appreciate that. So do they. Anyway, that's our friends. Cravenspeed.com, home of the N-gauge system. So that's that. What else is going on? What else is going on? Alex, are you even driving right now? Aren't you, completely buried in snow?
No, we're good, actually. We haven't had snow in a week, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
That must be
I think it was the last...
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Ibe. I think it was the last time last week. I think we're good for 20 days away from spring,
Okay.
21 days away. So
Yes.
I think we're good.
This must be it's all my friends in Texas, all our friends in Texas and in the South where they're getting all those ice storms and whatnot, and as well as a Mini can drive in the snow. I can't imagine a Mini driving very good in the ice unless you have metal spike tires,
Spiky tires.
spiky tires.
Yeah. I think there was one more thing I wanted to say about the Chris Harris thing. It's funny, right? Because it says in the article that for rentability purposes and margin purposes, those car companies have to pretty much produce every kind of model on the face of the earth. And it's very timely in regards to the Apple car news, because you have a lot of automotive, industry executives that are saying, well, why would Apple ever be in that business? Because they are only entering high margin industries, right? And so when you look at the smartphone industry, before Apple came in, actually, it wasn't a high margin industry. They made it a high margin industry, right? And so when you think about cars, should they ever actually enter the industry, I don't see why they would not be able to make high margin cars just like they did high margin phones, or like they're doing high margin computers. And so, for instance, when you look at a Tesla, there's a lot of things that are done really, really differently when you look at the braking system or the pieces like this that are they're done very, very differently from what's being done on cars these days. And so there could be ways of re-engineering the cars to make them, better margin cars. I don't know what they are, but it's not. I don't think that's impossible. I'm just saying. So I'm curious to see what Apple does if they ever do a car or something like this. I don't know.
Alex, I know I just joined randomly back again, but I just want to say I'm glad to hear you say that, because I've been thinking that for a while. Not to say that they would, they should, they will, or anything, but I think that there's a lot of naivete around the automotive industry in that it's basically a closed sort of closed loop. It's not a closed loop. There's plenty of opportunity for ground up innovation and frankly reimagination of what is happening. Tesla's done a decent job of it. They had no money. Imagine if Tesla had $700 billion, or I'm sorry, $700 billion market cap, or what is it, 130 or
170
or whatever it is. Yeah,
That's a ridiculous
Tesla's
amount of money.
had no money to do what they've done. Apple could buy GM if they wanted to. The fact they have so much money means that the opportunity is there. Will they? Should they? That's a great question. But I think there's opportunity to completely reevaluate what the automotive industry really is and how it makes cars and what a car is. Is that something that I would buy? I have no idea. But I think it's
You'd buy
interesting.
one, Gabe. Don't lie.
I don't know. I mean, if it's not fun to drive, here have we talked about autonomous cars in this show?
No, not really. We've kind of stayed away from that.
Because I got to say, for my money, autonomous cars are brilliant. Bring them on. I think everybody except for me should be driving an autonomous car. Why would we, as enthusiasts, not want them to be, like everywhere? Like, God knows I want my mom driving an autonomous car. Like everybody wants everybody they know to be driving an autonomous cars except for them. So, in my mind, bring it on. Let's see it. And I mean, if I can hit a button when I'm having a super tough day and traffic is terrible, and I can sit back and just kind of Instagram, I might do that.
Right. No, I'm in. I like that.
Trolley.
We should all do that. Let's go.
I like the trolley idea.
It's called the trolley.
Cars for everyone.
Yeah, but the trolley won't take me to Vegas. The trolley won't drive me to the Dragon.
No, but that's
the trolley won't even get me to work.
Well, taking the Dragon out of the equation, because you really kind of want to have your car there, but that's where super trains come into play from Detroit to Vegas or Phoenix to Vegas or whatever. I mean, realistically, we need to have 100-mile-an-hour trains, and we need to have some of that infrastructure that other countries are having now. That
I know.
Yes.
Screw 100-mile-an-hour trains. They need to be 200-mile-an-hour trains.
Well, that too, but there are a few mountains in the way that you kind of have to figure out what to do
Chad,
with
it's interesting though you mentioned this because you know this too. They've been talking about doing a Chicago to Detroit train for like 30 years. That's like a 200-mile.
That's about as long as they've been talking about doing an LA to Vegas or an LA to San Francisco train.
And then they talk about how much it's going to cost, and it's like like $10 billion or some ungodly amount. And then I look at Greyhound and I'm like, how could anybody on Greyhound afford this?
Right.
And then I look at China and how do they have like 100 of these things?
Well, China out of the equation because they've seen the production quality of what they've actually done, and they're like, yeah, nobody can go on this train because it's unsafe. They built it and it's there, but it's like it's about to fall apart. But we do need to work on the infrastructure. Detroit right now is getting our own light rail system. It's going up through the corridor so that the people in the suburbs can actually go downtown and the whole 9 yards, and it's going to be a huge thing. And obviously Chicago has all of its trains and stuff, which is great, but all of these cities need to have a structure like that as well as people needing cars. So
yeah, I agree.
You definitely have to have all of these things, and then you get all of the infrastructure between the things. And and to completely go way off topic, okay, let's not spend so much money on war, and let's throw some money at the country and actually fix the power grid and the drainage system and the water problems and the
Chad just went all Shuttlecast on us there.
I was gonna say, do you remember when we used to have a Shuttlecast?
Right.
We're actually the Shuttlecast is actually something in active development right now, Gabe. Oddly enough.
Do they need a super train between Detroit and Chicago? I don't know. We can get there quick enough in a car. You can get there quick enough in a plane, and the car usually beats the plane. You can still get a train there, in all reality, but you need a super train.
No, you know what you need? You know what you need between Chicago and Detroit? I'm telling you guys what you need right now. You ready? You need a zip line. Done.
Right?
That's all you need.
From Mount Holly to the Sears Tower, right?
Yes, a zip line. That is the fix. It's low cost, and it's a lot of fun. That is the fix for all of our transportation woes. Is just replace everything with zip lines.
You can only go one way though.
No, you have to like a 4-lane zip line going one way and a 4-lane zip line coming back.
Right.
Like a ski lift going back though.
Yeah, it's like a ski lift.
I recommend gloves.
Yes.
and a coat.
Yes. And maybe like a face mask or something.
Some goggles, yeah.
Yeah, you definitely would need goggles. And then you come up with a way to transport your pet on the zip line as well. That could be tricky. I don't know. Maybe I need to rethink this whole zip line idea thing.
Right, yeah, exactly.
I like the ingenuity of it all, though. I think it's...
there was something there. Yeah, there was something there. Maybe. Maybe not. Anyway. Does anybody have anything else? Gabe, would you like to add anything else? We're at about time, so we're just about out of time.
I would love to, not now, but I would love to have a little bit more time at some point to talk about the long-term loaner that we have from Mini, which is, despite the small tire size,
yes,
it's a lot of interesting things that and summer tires in the winter, by the way.
Oh, that's always nice.
Will wake you up in the morning after a foot of snow. But regardless, it's been fun. It's been really interesting. I mean, heads-up display is a must. Comfort access, which isn't on my goddamn car somehow, is a must.
Game has to use a key.
What else?
I don't feel so bad.
I haven't used a key in like 10 years, and now I'm like, what the fuck?
You gotta pull it out, press the button, man.
I gotta find it. Which pocket? Not the pocket I got a hand for. It's the other one. Oh, God.
Gabe, does BMW have any proximity lock systems yet on any of their cars, to where when you walk away, you have the key on you. When you get 10 feet away, the car locks?
I'm sure it could be designed. I mean, it's
that's
just
what I think.
Software.
New cars.
That's Apple Watch stuff.
It actually works. I tried on the F30. It actually works. They have this. So you walk away from the car, it locks itself.
Really? Yeah. It's all the same technology. So I mean, it's all software. It's like when in the BMW, the mirror, when you went in reverse. Now the F56 does it. The right mirror would dip.
Right.
There's no reason why that couldn't happen in the R56. It's just like the system wasn't set up for it.
Right.
Well, anyway.
Right.
There we go.
But
I would love to
muted
at some
Chad.
point, DB. I would love to. We'll come back on and we'll talk about the GP1 values and the F56 update.
Okay, I like it. Let's do that. I'm in.
All right.
All right, cool. Yeah, if I could figure out how to unmute Chad, that would be fantastic, which I'm not able to do. I think I might have just kicked him out of the show by mistake.
No, he's not there.
No, I think he left. Oh, he's back.
He might have muted himself. Chad, you're going to have to unmute yourself if you could, sir. But yeah, otherwise we are done for the night. Oh, that's Alex. That's what that screeching noise is. We are done for the night, gang. I want to thank everybody who came by and watched us live as we did this on Sunday. Very cool of you to stop by and do that. It was very, very awesome. You know what else? You know who else I want to say thanks to? I want to say thanks to all the people that are kicking in on the Patreon page so far. We're up to $56, which is truly amazing.
I smell butter.
We are so close to butter. It's not funny. Gabe, this is new for you, but just so you know, is we've got a Patreon project that we're working on, trying to help people, let them help us run the show and make it better, stronger, faster. And we've already determined that as soon as we hit the $100 goal, right now we're at $57.12 per show. So whoever's kicking in 12 cents, that's awesome.
I like it.
But as soon as we hit $100 per show, Todd's going to send everybody who's donated to that point butter.
Because butter just says love.
Butter says love. Anyway, 35 of you so far are contributing $57 an episode. That is absolutely amazing and fantastic. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it, and it really helps us in just making everything better for you guys, the fine and good-looking White Roof Radio listener, and we do appreciate that. Otherwise, I think we're done for the week. One more time. Does anybody have anything else? No, not at all. Thanks again, Mr. Bridger, stopping by. Motoringfile.com, www.motoringfile.com. It's always a treat and a pleasure. Keep an eye, follow along with his adventures with the F56, and it's really kind of awesome, and with its little bitty tiny tires. And, of course, our friend Chad Miller, Detroit Tuned, DetroitTuned.com. Chad, what's going on over at Detroit Tuned right now?
We just came out with their new turbo flange, aka the turbo nipple.
Ooh, that sounds way sexier. I like the turbo nipple.
I wasn't.
And there's our show title.
Yeah.
Oh God!
So go over there and look at the turbo flange, and it's going to be great for everybody who has a R56 Cooper S.
Well, okay. That, of course, is available over at Detroit Tuned, DetroitTuned.com. Thank you very much, sir. We do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I believe we're done for the evening. Motoring stripes. You know what I forgot to tell you guys? Motoringbadges.com, right? Yeah. Motoringbadges.com. Go. Motoring stripes, even better. Click on over there. Todd is coming to the conclusion that he should just sell you his stripes because he's tired of seeing crappy factory stripes on cars. Go over to motoringstripes.com. and get the right stripes for the car. They actually fit. They look like they belong on the car. They're not like half-assed where they end like this far. The factory stripes are like a quarter inch from the edges of the bonnet,
So
which is
Todd,
just annoying.
So
Yes,
if I wanted to order motoring stripes, but I wanted them a half inch from the bonnet, because I'm OCD and I like to never have intersecting lines. But I wanted them to look. I wanted them to look like the JCW concept stripes from last year. I would want to do that. You would do that?
I can do that also.
You could do that for anybody. So if anybody wanted basically any stripe from any concept, they would send you a pic, and you'd be like, "I could do that."
Right, for a price, anything
For a
can
price.
be done.
Okay. All right. We'll have to talk offline. This is exciting.
In addition to stripes over there, you can get the exclusive Countryman rear bumper protection strip that goes on the back,
which is super awesome. If you have a Countryman, you should have that anyway.
The rear bumper strip is that similar to the one that's on the R56 bumper?
Yes, it's a textured.
That's a mandatory.
Yep, exactly. So go get those. They're $59 plus shipping. Invaluable if you have a Countryman.
There you go. Done and done.
Cool.
Go check it out. Motoringstripes.com. There'll be a link to that in the show notes so you guys get it. And you should have seen a link earlier in the week over on Facebook anyway. Motoringstripes.com. And there'll be more designs and whatnot coming along as well as full video instructions. Todd's going to make this as super simple as possible to actually buy the stripes and get them put on the car for yourself so that they look perfect, just like he did it himself. And then you don't have those idiot stripes that are like a quarter inch too short. God, that really bothers me. It bothers Gabe because he has a thing against intersecting
I like
lines.
to have
However,
quarter inch between everything.
I want it to
everything.
look finished all the way. I pulled the stripes off of my car. Besides the fact they were cracked, but because they're the factory stripes, that ended a quarter inch too short.
If only you could have given them to me, TV.
No, they came off in like pieces, parts. They were really cracked and dried out. They were really bad. Anyway, but that's it. We're done for tonight. Thanks everybody again for stopping by. It's very cool of you to do that, and thanks for staying subscribed and for leaving nice notes for us over iTunes and all the other places. We really appreciate all that. But this is the part of the show where what was that, Chad?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, Chad's saying thank you. This is the part of the show though where I do like to make the funny clicking sound, and then I say. Questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead. Click back over to whiteroofradio.com. There you can leave us a note in the show notes. You can also email us, feedback@whiteroofradio.com. Until next week, gang. This is DB. I'm done.
Cheers.
See ya.
À bientôt.
There it is. Thanks, everybody, again, for stopping by. Those of you who joined us live, we do appreciate that. The show will be in the feed tomorrow night as usual. And for reals, for those of you who are kicking in on the Patreon page, that's really totally awesome. We really appreciate that more than you know. But we are done for the evening. Everybody, say goodnight one more time.
Good night.
Good night.
This is fun. We should do this like every week.
Jesus, no. Good night, guys. See you later.
All right.